Hello biology students, and welcome to video 3 of the cell unit. So in this video we just have one essential question that's driving our conversation, and that's what features are specific to plant cells. So up to this point we've discussed organelles that are present in both plants and animals, and now we're going to look at the ones that are in just plants. So here is a typical plant cell, or at least an artist's rendition of a typical plant cell. And then if you look carefully, there are a couple of things here that we see that we did not see when we were looking in the typical animal cell in our last video. So we can see this thing called the chloroplasts. We see this big hard cell wall on the outside. And we also see this big humongous thing. The biggest thing in the cell is a central vacuole. So those are the three main differences that we're going to see in a plant cell that are not present in an animal cell. So the first organelle that's unique to plants is the chloroplast. So chloroplast is found in plants, and it's actually also found in protists, which is a whole different kingdom than the animal kingdom or the plant kingdom. So it's not just in plants, it's just not in animals. What the chloroplast does is this is where photosynthesis occurs. So plants have the ability to take solar energy, and then using this energy and using water and carbon dioxide, they're able to make glucose. So we can't do this. We can only use glucose to make energy, but they can use energy to make glucose. They can do the exact opposite. And a unique feature to the chloroplast is it has a double membrane. The other two organelles we saw with double membranes were the mitochondria and the nucleus. So don't forget that as well. So here's a picture of a plant cell. This is actually an Elodea cell. Elodea is an aquatic plant. It lives in the water. It's kind of like a fern, but not really. You can see all these little green circles that we can see floating in the plant are chloroplasts. And here's our artist's rendition of a chloroplast. So you can see what I want to point out to you is that it has this double membrane. It has two membranes on the outside of this organelle. And here is a electron micrograph picture. So this is taken using a special microscope. And you can see the general shape of the chloroplast there as well. So the second organelle that's found only in plants is the large central vacuole. Now animals do have vacuoles in their cells, but they have many, many small vacuoles. Contrastingly, plants only have one vacuole, and it's very large. And basically this does a whole bunch of stuff. It holds stuff. It breaks down things. So firstly, it acts as storage, so it can hold water, it can hold food, different materials, it can hold enzymes, it can hold waste. But there's also a lysosomal function. So there could be some enzymes, digestive enzymes found in this vacuole that helps to break down some of that food and that waste, for example. So here is an artist's rendition of a vacuole. The central vacuole does take up most of this place in the cell, the space there, okay? So one kind of cool thing about the central vacuole, because it holds most of the water in the cell, it actually kind of affects how plump the cells are. So you can look, when the central vacuole is full of water, like right after you watered a plant, it's very full, it's very plump, and this actually pushes out on the cell walls of the plant cell, making it, if all the cells are nice and plump, it makes the plant stand up straight. If the plant has not been watered in a while, this central vacuole is very empty, so these cell walls kind of bow in, and this makes all the cells be thinner, and therefore the plant will wilt. So here's a picture of a plant cell, and you can see the majority of the space taken up in this plant cell is a large central vacuole. So again, this is a microscope picture. This is an electron micrograph. Okay, and then finally the last organelle that's unique to plant cells, or at least animals do not have it, is the cell wall. So this is found in eukaryotic plants, so not animals, and also some prokaryotes, so some bacteria. And it helps to surround the cell, it protects the cell, and it also gives the cell structure and rigidity. Rigidity. And we already know from last unit that the main component that makes up the cell wall is cellulose, that structural polysaccharide. So if we compare plants and animals, they're both eukaryotic. They both have membrane-bound organelles, and they both have a nucleus. But plants have chloroplasts, where animals do not. Plants have one large central vacuole, where animals have many small vacuoles. And plants have a cell wall and a cell membrane, where animals just have a cell membrane. Here's a picture showing that main difference. You can see they have a lot of organelles in common. Look at, they both have an ER. They both have a nucleus. They both have Golgi bodies. They both have mitochondria. But plants have chloroplasts, large central vacuoles, and cell walls, and animals do not have those three things. So that's it for video 3, and I'll see you in video 4.